So I want you to remember these things. Because when I first became a time management coach, I remember having a little bit of a conflict because here I am actually getting to help persons to organize their time and to get time to sleep and time to exercise and to spend with their families. And somehow it didn't feel like I didn't feel as if this isn't hitting the nail on the head. There has to be more to this time management than just reaching to work on time, more than keeping your house clean. Why, there must be more of a greater purpose to managing your time on the day. And as a child, I always felt the need to encourage persons to do better. As a teenager, I found need to encourage persons to go after their passions and their dreams. And I realized I have an opportunity through time management to help persons to find the time to play the piano, to read, to learn Spanish, to find time for these things that matter. Not just to find time to do the dishes and find time to keep the house clean and all of these things, but to find time for the things that really matter to you, to start that business, to write that book. And in preparation for today, I must say, I have a lesson that I would share with moms during the pandemic. And I really had planned on just sharing that lesson, giving you a few tips on how you could prioritize a little better and that type of thing. And while spending time in prayer about something totally different, I heard the Lord say, tell them that time is a currency. So my first thought was, yeah, but what does it have to do with what I was praying about? And then my second thought as I humbled myself was, that's a great idea. So I had to quickly write notes. So you would see me turning to my notes. I don't have a presentation. I had to sit and really think about it. Time as a currency, right? So you'll see me turning to my notes to make sure I cover everything that I prepared. But what's a currency? And let me know if I'm going too fast at all, right? What's a currency? When you think of currency, we think of what? Money, right? Currency is a medium of exchange for goods and services. So if you're a working mom, when you get your salary, whether it's bi-weekly or at the end of the month, you would budget a certain portion and you'll have money for bills, and you have money for rent and mortgage and groceries and that type of thing, right? The currents those items would be able to be purchased through the currency of money. Time is very similar to money. Yet, if I were to tell you to take out a $1 bill and to rip it in half, most of you would be like, huh, she crazy? No, you can't just waste money like that. But yet, when it comes to time, it's very easy for us to let time slip away, for us not to budget our time, for us not to use our time the way we would use our money. But I want to compare the currency of money for you and the currency of time for you at the moment, just so we can create a little more value where time is concerned when we are making our decisions on how we would spend our time. We get our salary. Let's say our salary is about $6,000, right? So you get your salary, $6,000, and you take $2,000 and you go to the grocery and you fill your trolley, and at the cashier you exchange your $2,000 and you get the goods of the groceries. Let's look at time. You get up and you go to work. And we spend typically, we look at the averages here, typically about 8 hours on the job, right? You give 8 hours of your service, and at the end of the month, you receive the payment, which is the money, right? Now, considering that we are paid at an hourly rate on average, right? It means that every hour equates to a certain value. Anybody following me here? Let me know in the chat. Yes, 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 if you're following me. Once you're following me here. Right. So based on your hourly rate, you might be working for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100 an hour. So each hour in the day is worth $100. And if you work 8 hours per day, then the company owes you the equivalent in money, correct? That's the value of your time. That's the value of your time. On the workplace, time is money. The same way we budget our salary is the same way we should budget our time during the day. So I gave the example of $6,000. Let's talk about time now. Ms. Placide, I made a very bad mistake. I did not write the time I started. I tried to commit it to memory.
That's so okay. You go ahead. That's okay.
Get into there, right?
That's okay.
I tried to memorize it.
Right. Go ahead.
So let's talk about time. Everyone gets how many minutes per day? Now, everybody not getting the same salary, but because God is so amazing, he gave everybody the same number of minutes. So we get a total of 1,440 minutes every day. Each and every one of us. In our time bank account, we get the same number of minutes. So let's do like with our salary. Let's budget out now the non-negotiables. And right as we were waiting to start, I created a quick slide so we'll look at it. So let me see if I can share that very quickly. Right, everybody seen that there, right? Yeah? Everybody seen it? Good. So in our 14-40-minute budgets, let's look at our non-negotiables. Just as with your salary, your groceries will be non-negotiable, your rent or mortgage is non-negotiable. Let's look at some things that just can't change, right? Sleep, average 7 hours. So that's 420 minutes of your 1440 that is gone. And I say average because as moms, you can get between 5 to 6, 7 hours, perhaps 8. I don't know when last I had 8 hours, but generally it's about 7 hours, right? Eating, average 2 hours. That's 120 minutes gone. Work, and I added getting ready for work as well. So if you work a typical 40-hour week, we're looking at 8 hours and about 1 hour to get ready. That's 540 minutes. That's gone. In transit to and from work, an average is about an hour. If you're like me, we're looking at 3-4 hours because I live in Kwaito. But let's say an average of 1 hour, that's 60 minutes, that's gone. So your non-negotiables with your time, and we have an average of 1,140 minutes. You now have a balance every day of 300 minutes, which is the equivalent of 5 hours. How does 5 hours per day sound to anybody? 5 hours per day. Sounds good?
Feel free to unmute. 5 hours now. If you want to chat, feel free to unmute.
So in those 5 hours, we have to now do the things that we can negotiate, right? And when I say can negotiate, doesn't mean that we don't have to get it done, but we can determine how long it takes for us to get certain things done based on how we approach it, right? So we now have to look at cooking, cleaning, childcare, homeschooling, your devotions, and a number of things within those five hours, right? How you manage those 5 hours will determine just how much you can get done. So I want you all to do something kind of quick for me right now. Everybody is using their cell phone, or they have their cell phones out. If you're not on if you're on the desktop, that's perfect. But if not, I want you to just switch across now to your settings and go into the digital well-being app. Quick. In your settings, you will see digital well-being. That's a Google service. So you find most handsets will have it. Digital well-being. Anybody found it? Now, this tells you just how much time is spent on your phone. And really very quickly, if you're brave, Enter into your chat how many hours you see spent on your phone. Everybody went in? Everybody looking at it? Oh, if I, okay, no, I'll leave it. This is Big Mama. This is Big Mama, sip and talk. This is Big Girl Pennies on today, sip and talk. How many hours? So I'll tell you how much I have here. I use my phone for business. So I've downloaded a whole set of my business apps. So I spend a lot of time on my phone. I have 3 hours and 15 minutes on my phone right now, which you all can't see because I have the background. Somebody share me how much you're seeing on your screen.
1 hour and 47 minutes.
1 hour 47. Someone else.
4 hours and 32 minutes.
4 hours and 32 minutes. Anybody else? 1 hour 39 minutes. One more.
7 hours.
7 hours. Now, I mean, we can't judge these hours because we're not sure exactly how the phone is being used. Because I have clocked 7 hours listening to podcasts and that type of thing on my phone as well. But what? Now, I know some of you still looking at it and saying, 7 hours and 16 minutes. You look and saying, wow. So we already identified that after we've gone through our non-negotiables for 40 minutes of time, that we have about 5 hours left to get our stuff done. But we can see here that a lot of our time is spent on these wonderful devices, right? And some of us could justify why we're using it, and some of us looking at it and saying, shucks, I did not notice. One of the things that happen to most of us moms, you know, when a lot of this time is taken, you see at night when everybody going in the bed, and the house gets quiet, a lot of that time is taken from then until what o'clock that we actually get to bed at night. Now, yes, during the day, you know, sometimes you take a little break and you grab the phone, because many times the handset, which is designed for us to become addicted to it, but that's a different conversation. It is designed to trigger us to pick it up. So we feel a little tired, we get confused, we grab it and we check to see if you have a message. The average person picks up their phone about over 30 something times, right? All's well, Nancy. Right. The usual time that you would find moms, and I'm talking to moms here, is at night. But I just want to remind us of that dream that we have if we just had 1 extra hour, Lord. And most persons said, what? Sleep. But what do? We are on the phone at night instead. And we only have 5 hours, and yet we're spending 3 to 7 hours on our phones. Why did I mention this? We started off talking about time as a frequency, as a currency. As a currency meaning a medium of exchange, which means my time should give me returns. My money, if it is I go to the store and I see something nice and I pay for it, I expect to go back with the thing that I paid for. We don't go to the store and say, that looks great, have my money, and leave the store. We expect to have an exchange. So your time, there must be an exchange. When you spend time cooking, it's because 1, we're going to have a meal. 2, your children are going to be healthy. 3, we're going to save money from having to order out or that kind of thing. So there is a return on your investment. But a lot of us are spending our time and there are no returns. So I spoke about social media, but it's not just social media. Some of the decisions that we make with our time, it may be based on how mommy used to do it. It might be based on what you think you should do. And sometimes it's not the best use. And I'll give a very quick example. So when my second set of twins, now my twins, I have twin girls and I have twin boys. So I get you, right? The girls are 9 and the boys are 3. And when the boys were about a year, I'll say about a year, time when you could do sleep training, it could have been before the year, I would waste time rocking them to sleep. Now, you've never seen me, but I am very petite, right? And I have two boys on my chest, and I'm rocking these boys to sleep every night, right? And the reason why I did it is because I couldn't take the ball in my head. I really couldn't take it. I tired, and I was sleep deprived, and my pressure was consistently high because once you're lacking in sleep, your pressure usually goes up. And my husband wanted to train these boys to sleep because he had the strength and the valor to be able to do it. But I couldn't take the balling for them to settle down. So I would take them and I will put them on my shoulder and I will sing a song and I will rock them to sleep. And it would take me an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes to get them in their bed. That was a poor use of my time because what I really needed was to sleep. I needed rest. It would have taken us a week or two because it took about 2 weeks to get these boys sleep trained, right? But instead of choosing to spend my time differently, I chose what I thought would have been the easier thing at the moment. I chose something that would have given me greater pleasure for the moment. And therefore, I ended up being more tired and more sleep deprived because of how I chose to spend my time. So sometimes it's not that you're wasting your time on social media or on the phone chatting or watching television. Sometimes it's just how you use your time. I remember the story of a lady. She was an executive at her company, and at the company everything was like a well-oiled machine, but when she would get back home she said everything was a mess. She said, I did everything. Nobody helped me. It's all about me, and I had all the chores to do and nobody would raise a finger. And imagine this, every night I have to mop the entire home and nobody would help me. And I remember the coach asking her, she said, you would mop the entire house every night? And she said, yes, I would mop the house every night. And she said, but why would you do that every night? And she said, because that's what my mother did. So some of us are trapped in some activities that right now don't make no sense. Right now, as we're in the pandemic, if you mop in your house every night, I salute you. That's one of the things I would love to do, mop this place every night. But at that time, there was no pandemic. She was doing it because that's just what she knew. And it was not the best use of her time. And some of us are doing this. I remember telling the story to a group of persons. I said, you don't have to watch the washing machine for it to wash. And she said, it's true. She said, I just stand up and watch the machine. So we have to reconsider how we spend our time. I started off by talking about what you would wish to do if you had time. I firmly believe that God has given each one of us gifts, and He has set us on a path to use these gifts for someone else, to the betterment of, just as Ms. Placide, this whole foundation is to help improve the lives of girls and women. We have a gift and we have a calling on our lives, but we are so busy and busied by the distractions of the things that we have to do that we're not seeing, and we're not taking that opportunity to work on that thing that we've been called to do. Now, when I say this and I feel mom saying, I do not have time. So I just want to remind you all, I have, and I'm just bringing the example, I have 2 sets of twins too, so I have 4 kids. I live 2 hours away from work, right? I'm going to school, I'm running a business, and I have a full-time job. This semester, by the grace of God, I got my report from the exams and I saw I was able to pull off a B plus and an A. I'm not saying it to toot my own horn. What I'm saying is, if God has called you to fulfill a role on this earth, He is going to give you everything that you need. Because people ask me, how do you do it? And I say, I don't know. I said, it has to be God. When I looked at the results and I saw an A, I said, you know what? I'm not going to call them to tell them they gave me an A for them to realize they make a mistake, because I have no idea how I got an A in that course. Somehow, God gives us the grace. And with the skill of time management, I am able now to prioritize, to work on what needs to be done, to focus on the essentials so that I am able to keep things balanced. I don't know if I'm making sense to anybody. If I am making sense, I'd love for you to say so. Yeah, you're making sense. Yeah, you go, girl. Or nah, you really are making no sense. Let me know. Hi, hey, hi, Paradise.
Feel free to
Hi, Tamara. How are you going? You all right?
Awesome. You're right. You're making sense. Yeah. So I'm not going to leave here without telling you how we can begin to maximize our time and use it differently, right? Ms. Placide, how many more time do I have? I need about 5 minutes for this exercise.
Okay, well, you have 5 minutes. You can go ahead.
Good, so we have time.
Right.
Very, 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 very quickly. This is pretty much a framework when you're facing your day, right? One, you need to identify what your priorities are. Not what you think your priorities are, but what your priorities really are. Now, a priority can be defined as something that is of great importance that you attend to before other things. When I ask those questions, people normally say, God, my husband, me, the house, the kids, my job, my career. Identify what your priorities are. Very quickly add it to the chat. Top 6 to 8 priorities, because for you to be able to have any balance, you need to identify what your focus should be on at any given time. And listen to me, you do have the time. It all depends on how you spend it. Son, business, self, or son. What are your top priorities? For each of your priorities in life, you need to have a goal that you would like to achieve. What are you working towards for your home? You would like to have a clean house, a home where it's peaceful, where the kids are getting along well, you have a great relationship with your husband. What's your priority for your business? You want to be profitable, you want to expand your borders and go regionally or internationally. You must have a goal for each of the area. Your ministry, you want to be specific. I want to impact the lives of women. I want to impact the lives of battered women. I want to work with young men, have an organization, teach them how to tie their ties, be very specific. So you must, one, identify your priorities, because then if you don't identify your priorities and focus on your priorities, then you're going to spend your life building the dreams and the visions of somebody else. You're going to spend your days building somebody else's empire, right? I said that and I felt it as I said it, all right? So we need to identify our priorities. We need to have you need to have a vision or a goal for your priorities. And then I love this, a tidy home, a child who follows instructions, but beautiful. We need to be very, very specific. You see, when we know what we want, then we know what activities are going to take us to achieving those goals. So we want a child who follows instructions. So we need to identify what activities are required. I need to teach this child, what am I going to use to teach this child? How are we going to instill discipline? So when you identify your goals, you're at the point now where you could choose the actions, list the actions that are required. So we're talking about a nice home. We have the home is just one priority. And in the home, there are chores to be done. I don't focus on chores. What I do is I create a system for the chores to be done. Thursdays, washing. Sunday afternoon is meal prep. When the kids wake up in the morning, they know they need to make their beds, brush their teeth. You create little systems to get things done so that you aren't focused on one priority and the other things are being neglected. I have not looked at my notes once. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Right. Good. And when you're planning the day now, plan your day based on your priorities. So I usually say, you look at your priorities list and you consider, sometimes we plan our day and we forget the children have like end of term tests coming, right? This needs to be added into your planning for the day. You consider the kids and the end of term exams. You consider your husband's, whatever he has to be done. You consider these things now. So we're no longer just planning our day and just listing all the chores that we want to get done, because that means you just focus on one of the priorities, but we have several other priorities that need to be focused on. And as I wrap up, as we are looking at the activities that we're planning, You use the 80-20 principle. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Pareto's principle. You're looking at the 20% that's going to give you the greatest returns. I chose to sit and rock my boys to sleep at night. That did not bring me any return. The 20% is if I had focused on sleep training. So if I focus my attention on the small set of tasks that are going to give me the greatest returns. Getting up and cooking for the entire day, that's a 20%. Right? Focus on the activities that are going to give you the very greatest returns. All right. So that's it pretty much in a nutshell. I wonder if you have any questions. Anyone has any questions to me? I'm just going to check the chat very quickly.
Okay, guys. So we have just about 5 minutes for questions. So I need for you guys to be quick with your questions to give our speaker time to answer you properly. Let's be quick. You can unmute or you can put it in the chat, whichever is quicker.
And also, I also have a Facebook group, as Denielle mentioned, to help persons with time management called Every Woman. You are free to join the group. I will be having a workshop where I will go into detail on time management for mothers during the pandemic. So we're going to go into a lot more detail then, but you join the group, and when I begin to provide the details, you'll be able to access it. So that is available to you as well. So if there are no questions,
Hi, good day.
Okay.
Hi, go ahead.
Hi. Okay. Abigail, great knowledge. I just wanted to find out, I have a question, right? How do you suggest managing time, seeing that most of the time now is occupied in really and truly getting the 3 kids at school at the time that is set forth using the schooling system now, which is from 9 to 3 p.m.
When you say how do you manage your time in terms of what, being able to complete other things?
Yes,
what is your
exactly.
goal?
Because what happened, right? Okay, say for instance, my daughter, she's in standard 1. Now she has to be on Zoom classes from 9 to 12. Then the teacher starts to send work from 12 to 3. While my other child, who is in first year, is getting work also throughout the day. Then I have to still manage businesses and stuff like that and cook, and I just feel like a mess. So I was just wondering if you have any pointers as to how it could work with that, seeing that I am working with an external limitations then, and that is set forth by the schooling system.
Beautiful. I love that term, external limitations, because that's the term that I use to describe exactly what you're talking about. An external limitation is something that you don't have any control over. So the pandemic has placed most of us moms into that place of external limitations. When you're faced with an external limitation, the first thing that you do is that you have to acknowledge that it is not the norm. The things that I'm accustomed doing, I will not be able to do it, or I will not be able to do it in the way that I formerly did it. The things that I did every single day may no longer be possible, and I may have to reschedule some things and focus on what is required for the day. So then if you're looking at the 80-20 principle and you identified one thing, which is that you have to cook, and the next thing is that you have to get business done, then you have to now devise a way that cooking can be done differently. So whether it is prepping meals on the weekend and freezing, whether it is not spending much time on social media at night, I'm just kidding, but trying to get up a little earlier in the morning to prepare meals for the day, whether it is tweaking your meal choices, you now have to deal with your now external limitation. As it pertains to business, you have to identify now the priority tasks that you have to work on. You might look around and see people, they're doing a million things, and you're seeing them on Facebook, and you have to identify the things that's going to bring you the returns. What's going to bring in the money, and you're going to have to focus on that. So now you're going to be more laser focused, and time will be of greater value to you because every second is going to count. I don't know if that's at all helpful, Abigail.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it is, because I was beginning to become really frustrated. But thanks.
Yeah. So thanks, Miss Placide.
Okay, guys, any more questions before I turn over to Mrs. Placide? Quickly, we just have about 3 more minutes. You can either raise your hand, just jump in, or put it on the chat.
A few years ago, I didn't have this information. Now, a few years ago, I was on my bed crying, why?
But yeah, this is it. Thank you so much, because I mean, I have mothered a lot of persons, but I'm not a biological mother. But in spite of that, I do have challenges with time. Anybody who knows me knows that. Look at Mrs. Placide's face. But this has helped. This has helped a whole lot.
Amen.
Okay, Celicia. Okay, Celicia. That's my little sister, one of them. So one of the things that really stood out to me was that some of us get trapped in traditions. I find that so powerful. Mommy used to do it. And, you know, so we find ourselves caught up in certain activities that really are time consuming, but not necessarily our priorities. And so they take away from what really are the true priorities. And so because it has been so ingrained in us, you know, it has been so ingrained that it is almost like a part of us. So we never, I mean, after you said it today, that was like a real eye-opener for me. In truth, you know, we really do spend time caught up doing things that we feel we need to do, but are not really priorities. And it's just because it's things that were handed down, and that was an eye-opener for me. So I mean, I can tell you a million thank yous for that.
Miss Davis.
Thank yous, a million blessings just for that one piece.
Miss Davis.
I don't know if anybody else I'm seeing.
Hi, Anne, you hearing me? Anne, you hearing me?
Yeah, sure.
So I just want to encourage those who are listening that, Tamara, thank you so much for your words of inspiration. And yes, that point on tradition has stuck with me. For those who know me, I juggle a lot of hats, but I know when to wear them. And I know how to wear them. So while I'm a mommy of, 3 beautiful little adults and a pastor and juggling non-profit organization from a business, from my time, and I like to put that in capital letters, my time, to wife role and all that, I just want to drop in a little thing. Do what you can with what you have. I think most of the time we feel as though we are in a competition. And listen, ladies, listen, mommies to be, don't put yourself in a competition with anyone. Don't stress yourself on social media and saying, oh, how this one is doing this, whatever. Reorganize yourself, as Tamara would say, prioritize what is important and do what you can with what you have. We can't change what is going on in the world, but we can change the meaning of what we want to experience today. And that's important. What is priority? Maybe being a mommy right now and your job and juggling and balancing and all that. So do what you can with what you have. And hey, if you didn't get the opportunity to cook the 5-course meal today, say what? At least they got one. And what do I mean? We boil some noodles and we put some sausage in it and you say, yes, happy. Bless the Lord, you go eat. You know, so do what you can with what you have and never be ashamed with what you put out there. And I just wanted to encourage somebody with that this evening.
Okay, all right. So we didn't tell you all, but we have a little added surprise. So we have some giveaways. All right. So I have the pleasure of doing first giveaway, and it is a beautiful cake from Siblings Tasties. Now, I could really attest to Siblings Tasties. I have ordered from them, and their stuff is delicious. So what I want to do is, I want to ask you guys a question. And I'm going to ask Mrs. Placide and Miss Rock to please pay attention. Somebody's already thanking me for the cake. Hello, it's not free. You have to win it. Please help me to see or to who puts their hand up first to answer this question, all right? So when Miss Rock began,
Christiana, could you look for us as well, please? Thank you.
she said, time is a currency. What was the definition she gave for a currency? Okay. I see.
Ms. Davis, we are not writing SES, so stop it.
I see
I'll take a try.
Raised.
Hello?
Hi, Abigail.
Yes, hello.
Yes, go ahead. Your hand was raised. Go ahead.
Right. She said that the definition for currency is an exchange for goods for services.
Okay, you're almost there, but almost there, Abigail. Almost. Who was the second person? Was it Miss Mitchell? And I'm seeing Celicia's hand up.
I'll try.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I will try. I don't know if Miss Mitchell will try, but is it exchange for goods and services for cash or cash equivalent?
Not quite there. There's one word that you all are missing out. Where's Miss Mitchell?
I missed it. Sorry, I missed it, but I am going to guess and say value.
Yeah, value.
Miss Mitchell?
Value. I would say value.
Who's somebody speaking? I'm not sure who it is. You. Somebody was just speaking. Can you all help me? Tell me who it is. Somebody just answered.
Miss Mitchell saying value.
Miss Mitchell.
Uh-huh. Let me hear the explanation, sorry.
I think she got, okay, go ahead.
No, what I said was I didn't get in time to hear the explanation, but I'm thinking it's value.
Oh, well, it is value, but she did give a definition. So I want to ask Ms. Rock, out of Miss Webster and out of the three, which one you believe came the closest?
Well, the definition of currency is a medium of exchange of goods and services. So I may have to leave that one up to you because they both, they both spoke of the exchange for goods and services, but they didn't use the word medium as it can be formed.
Right?
So here's what, Miss Davis, because both of them try, we're going to give both of them the cake.
They will both get a cake?
Both get a cake, 6-inch chocolate cake from Siblings.
Wow, wow.
Oh, thank you.
You are our first winners. But more than that, I hope that the information that we got today from Mrs. Rock, you put into practice. I know I definitely will. And we want to move Ms. Rock again. We want to say thank you. I believe that we would be hearing more from you because I know that you have a whole lot more to give and we have a whole lot more to benefit from you. So thank you again. for accepting our invitation and thanks for sharing. Denielle, over to you. Can Miss Webster and Miss Wilson please private message me with your numbers so that we can call you to make the delivery or pickup arrangements? Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Davis. So it's important that we listen, and Ms. Mara, thank you again. So we now move on to our guest who's joining us all the way from the US and the Caribbean, Ms. Alison Riley Rodden, a high school dropout, turned stockbroker, turned entrepreneur. Alison found budgeting basics and beyond in 2018. Alison is a money coach. She teaches people how to have an organized budget and keep their financial lives running smoothly without giving up the things they love. After starting her business, Alison realized that the stress in her life was making her sick. Yes, girl. Trying to balance being a mom, wife, and business owner was taking a toll. Seeing a counselor and regular exercise were not cutting it. So she started on a journey to figure out the best way to manage her stress. And we need to manage our stress. As a result of this journey, the Unstressed Momma was created as a collaborative project with two other entrepreneurs. A couple of virtual retreats led to a podcast and a social media presence, all geared towards finding the right combination to help moms manage their stress and even get rid of it. These days, you find Alison brainstorming ideas with her Unstressed Momma co-host, reading Dogman books with her, or making a list of songs for Alexia to play while she writes content for her business. Ladies, women, mommies to be, let's welcome to the forum, Miss Alison Rodden.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
We're hearing you perfectly.
Yes, beautiful. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. I do have a presentation I'm going to share. Let's see. Okay, so as mentioned in the intro there, I am a money coach and I have the Unstressed Momma on the side. So I'm going to be talking mostly about stress today, but I can't help but incorporate money into it since I'm a money coach. But the truth is, stress is a very expensive thing that everybody deals with. So the cost of stress is what I will be going over. All right. So I have an abbreviated version of my intro here. I will skip that since we just read it. So there are three major causes of stress: relationships, money, and health. And within these three things, there are a million subcategories. So obviously relationships with your parents, your siblings, your spouse, your kids. Money is a huge stressor, particularly when we don't have enough of it, or when we think we don't have enough of it to do the things that we need to do, or even the things that we want to do. And health, if you've already got bad health, other kinds of issues, other people's health that you are dealing with, all of these things are the major causes of stress. And if you don't figure out a way to deal with your stress, then it's also going to affect your health. This is something that I found out. So just to share a little personal story of mine that was touched on. I was dealing with a lot of stress when I left the corporate world and started my own business. The purpose was to be home with my son and not have to deal with daycare and be more flexible and all of those things. And that did happen. But also what happened is that I became increasingly more worried about our budget and how we would afford things and how we would afford vacations. And for years, I had a little bit of pain right here in my back. And thanks to Facebook memories, I can see how often it would flare up, because before I had kids, I would post silly things like, oh, I think I slept wrong or whatever. I worked out in the gym today and gosh, my back hurts now. Well, it kept getting worse and worse. And I finally mentioned it to the doctor while I was there for an appointment for my son. I said, I have this pain all the time. And I don't know, maybe I have a pulled muscle or something. So I started going through the process of trying to figure out what this was, and eventually got an MRI and found out that I have degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis, some arthritis in my spine, and quite a bit of inflammation. And those things are common for people that are about 15 years older than me. Not normal, but due to this constant stress I was holding, I was like this all the time. And that's what caused it. Spinal stenosis is when your spine isn't as flexible. Degenerative disc disease, the space between the discs in your spine shrink. I'm not a doctor, but this is what they tell me. And it was definitely caused by stress, and from me not dealing with my stress, and sometimes even wearing my stress like a badge of honor. And while I went to physical therapy, and these aren't debilitating things for me, they could eventually be debilitating as I age if I don't take care of it and do the physical therapy that I was prescribed and manage my stress. Because if I continue to be stressed like that, I will continue to be, uptight and literally tight in my body, and it will make it worse and worse. And luckily I caught it soon enough that I can continue to live a normal life. And if it flares up and hurts a little bit, I can take ibuprofen and get rid of it. A lot of people aren't that lucky. They wait too long and they get more serious issues, like autoimmune diseases and cancer. All of those things can be caused by prolonged stress on your body, because it elevates cortisol and elevates all the things inside of you that work together to cause these horrible diseases. Not to mention depression and other mental disorders. Stress takes just such a terrible toll on every aspect and really results in a reduced quality of life. So that's something that none of us want. I think we can all agree on that. So what do we do? Because everybody is going to have stress in their life. That is a fact. You can't stop having stress. There are always going to be situations that are a little bit stressful or a lot stressful. We're going to experience loss and pain and everything else in our lives. That's what it just is part of life. So what we have to do is find a way that we can deal with this so that we don't get sick and that we don't develop all these other issues. The biggest one is to make sure that you have a support system. And a lot of us, myself included, I don't live near my family, which is my biggest support system. So I've had to figure out how to develop the support system in another way. And one of the things for me was creating the Unstressed Mama. So even though it was more work for me, it involved me researching different ways to manage stress and helping other moms manage stress. And through doing that work, it really helped me be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not strict, but more disciplined, more serious about doing all of the things that I know that I need to do to manage my stress. And like Tamara said, putting it on my list of priorities and making sure that it gets in my time budget for the day. That was a great presentation. I was taking crazy notes on that one because that ties in so much with what I'm doing and a lot of the things that I will talk about in the Unstressed Mama group. And by the way, we have a Facebook group called the Unstressed Mama that is free to join. And we also have a podcast. And you can listen to that on most anywhere that you get your podcasts. So second one here, pay attention to your mental health and get help as needed. A lot of people don't get help for their mental health because they think that it's something that will pass, or they think that it's too expensive to get counseling, or any other reason. It used to be the stigma of it, but fortunately, I think a lot of that is going away now. But you can always talk to, if money is an issue, your clergy, pastors, they always help with that. Finding mom groups where you find people with similar kind of issues that they're going through. They might have suggestions of places that you can go to get the help that you need if you're struggling with something like that. And the last one here, which might be the biggest one, and the one that I struggle to stay consistent with the most, is to practice gratitude. On a day-to-day basis, the things that I am stressed out about are nothing. I'm really lucky. I live in a nice part of town. My son has everything he needs. We're able to go on vacations. I'm fairly healthy and I have access to healthcare. I need to remind myself all the time, I am so lucky. And even though I'm stressed out because I don't have enough time to do this list of things I have, and I didn't get this done, excuse me, and these things didn't go exactly as I wanted. When I look at the big picture and remember how lucky I am, those things just don't matter. Okay. Before I go to questions, I wanted to go back here to the relationships, money, and health. My co-hosts on the Unstressed Mama. So I talk about money issues a lot since I'm a money coach, but I also have on there with me a physical therapist and a strength coach. So together, we all three are moms. We live in different parts of the country, so different time zones here in the US, and we've got completely different experiences in life, and we focus on these three things that we talk about: money, health, and relationships. And it makes for some very interesting episodes, I think, with our different perspectives on raising children and on our relationships. And we've got expert information on money and health, all geared towards moms and helping moms deal with the issues that cause them stress on a daily basis. And I will tell you again, I've got the Unstressed Mama group. I've provided my email here in case anybody wanted to email me for more information. And I have another Facebook group called Money Matters Made Simple, where I talk about money issues, a little bit of cutting from the budget, but mostly about ways of bringing more money into your life. Because I believe that you can only cut so much, but there's an unlimited potential that you can bring in if you are looking to do so. So with that, I will go to question time. If anybody has any questions at all.
Okay, guys, don't all rush at the same time. Sure, we all have questions.
Okay, this is Felicia here. Just mute my husband looking at sports. Okay, so one of the things that you said, I want to make sure I heard it correct, is that you looked at your circle, like, you know, you didn't have like your family members and they're close by. So you looked at other ways that you can create that circle or that environment that will help you out as well. But sometimes in that same circle and in that environment, they also help create stress for you. And it's more like a comment, is that sometimes you also have to think about, sometimes managing your stress is also learning to let go of not only things, or things you can't achieve, but it's also letting go of people and loving them from a distance to help manage your stress level as well. So just wanted to share that with the rest of the participants.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I've had that in my life also, where when you're experiencing stress from a relationship, and in my case, particular, one of my siblings, relationship is very stressful. You have to set boundaries and say, I'm not going to cut you out of my life, but when we're around each other, I'll be civil and keep it short, because otherwise it's going to cause more stress in my life. And I already know this. And so now I have a new approach to dealing with this. So it's really a flexible thing and something that is forever a work in progress to balance and figure out new ways to deal with things. So thank you for bringing that up. That's a great point.
Anyone else? Wow, this crowd, I can't believe you all just soaking in everything. Anybody else have any questions?
Maybe they are stress-free. Who knows? Wonderful group of ladies.
Hi, Alison. Good afternoon. Oh, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Alison, would you say that leaving your corporate job or leaving the corporate world would have helped a great deal in relieving a lot of stress that you would have had in your life before?
I thought that it was going to, but it didn't. It just made different stress. So I thought, oh, you know, I won't have to worry about daycare anymore, and who's going to take days off when the daycare's closed and there's holidays and all of this. And while it's true that stress is gone, there's a lot of new stress now added.
And if I may add to that conversation, Candice and even Alison, I laugh because I would have resigned my 84 in 2019, very excited, of course, resigned based on instructions from God. And I was telling God, I was like, okay, cool. Some of my 84 stress, you know, the ones that we have to get up and see about the children before we go and all that. And ladies, moms to be, COVID hit. It's COVID. So it was 2019 October. COVID came, and then here we was like, okay, the kids were now at home full time, and then I'm like, okay, where is the plan that you said that you were giving me? The plan that you said in Jeremiah 29:11 not to harm me. I feel hurt, you know. So I like what you said, Alison. A different stress came, and then later down in the year, my dad got sick, and then you know, there were so many other things to juggle. But what I have learned in the process is that we need to declutter. So I took up a process of, you know, when you're cleaning your bags and you're cleaning your wardrobe and that kind of stuff, there are some things that you just don't need. I would say that there are some people in your life you just need to declutter and just press all control and delete. There are some, you know, just press delete. There are some people who bring stress. There are some things that we do in our home that you just have to really press all control and delete and just reorganize your life and prioritize, so that what is priority and what trumps everything is your health. Because if you are damaged, you can't help anyone else. So I learned that, and it is, I just decluttered so that my stress level could be a little bit better.
Okay, we have a question from Suzanne. Suzanne is directing this question to you, Alison. She said she needed you to go over what you said about having an attitude of gratitude. She wanted to know if it could be that sometimes we are trying to accomplish too much all at the same time.
Yes. So this is kind of a two-part question here, but could it be that sometimes we are trying to accomplish too much all at the same time? Absolutely. That is something that I have learned over the last year from keeping track of my goals. And when I don't meet them, saying, well, what happened here? Well, I was trying to schedule in enough things every day that it would take 8 people to do all of these things. This is out of control. So having an attitude of gratitude, what that does is help you put it into perspective. And if you use what Tamara was saying about listing priorities and goals, and you keep that in mind every day when you set your goals, it's easy. And when you have an attitude of gratitude, it's easier to see what should really be your priority and what is really just fluff or filler in your life that really isn't that important. So when you look around and see how lucky you are and what things bring you the most happiness and are the most impactful in your life, then you know those should be your priorities. And it's easy to spot that when you're writing out things that you're grateful for. And it can be as simple as every morning or every night writing down 3 things that you were grateful for that day or the day before. It doesn't need to be an intense journaling experience that takes up a bunch of time. And I'll tell you, once you start doing that, then you start noticing more. Oh, this was great. I'm so lucky that this happened, or I love this experience that I had today. And then you start to prioritize. I want to do more things like this. And it all kind of rolls together.
Can I direct one question from you? You said that you in your group you deal with the finances, right? And
yeah.
I know, especially during this COVID time, finances or a lack of it is a major stressor, not just for families, but for mothers, especially if we have single mothers in our listening audience. I'm just asking you to give us just 3 tips as to how we could go forward in terms of managing our finances so that we could reduce that particular stress stimulant, if you want to put it that way.
Okay. Number 1 tip have a written budget. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to have special stickers or special notebooks. As a matter of fact, this is my budget. Inside of here, I have an 88-cent notebook because I like to write things with a pen. I'm not a spreadsheet person, but I write down what is due and when there will be money coming in and how much. And I do it a couple months out so that I already know if there's something coming up that's going to be a shortfall, or if it's completely fine and I can save some money for something special. Just that simple act alone is a huge stress reliever, because instead of sitting around wondering, is this going to bankrupt us? Is this going to be too much? Are we not going to be able to afford things? Then you know you're dealing with facts and not with conjecture and worry that you're building up in your head. So that is number one tip. Number two tip, once you write down all of your expenses, if you don't already have them written, take a look at them and see if there's anything on there that seems out of line, or things that you have that you're paying for that you don't even use anymore. Subscriptions, things like that. I find that I do this about every 3 or 4 months, and I'll forget that I had this subscription. I don't use this anymore. Cancel. And then that's, $11 or something that I've freed up that I was just throwing away, really just bleeding out of my budget. And looking at things like your cell phone bill. When's the last time you called and asked for a lower price? You might not need to be paying as much for your plan as you do. Things like that, you should do that every so many months to go through everything, your internet, cell phone, take a look at your electric bills and gas, your utility bills, and say, are these too high? Could I put the thermostat up 1 degree or down 1 degree and save a little bit of money there and still be just as comfortable? Just simple things like that. And the third tip, once you've done that, written down and went through and made sure you're not paying more than you should, if you're still short on money, get creative. One of the good things that has come out of COVID is the increase in e-commerce traffic. And it is so easy to make money online from home now. And my group is somewhere that a free place that you can come and learn how to do that. Just do some researching on your own and find ways to bring in a little bit of extra money into your life and involve your kids in it if they're old enough, because it's something fun to do and you'll be teaching them valuable lessons at the same time. Yeah, and Christina says in the comments, review entertainment, buying things we don't need, etc. Yes, you can do that too. The one thing I think is that you don't want to cut your budget down too much. In the short term, that's okay. If you've got an emergency situation, then yes, you should. But if you are just trying to tighten up a little bit and not spend so much, I find that cutting too much is very similar to a strict diet, that you'll only stick to it for a short term, and then when you fall off, it's like, open the floodgates. I'm spending all the money. Whip out the credit card. So you don't want to do that.
Right. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Saying that they really appreciate the question being answered and asked. Yeah, remember guys, we're all in this together. All right, it's not one man or one woman against the world, but we're all in it together. So want to thank you so much, Alison. I want to hand over to Denielle too. You know, Denielle, I just wanted to share a little bit about sibling treats. Is it treats or delight?
Yes, before you go on, Ms. Davis, I just wanted to thank Janelle for that comment, investing versus spending. That's very important for us to pay attention to. And you want to know finance stress? Yes, money causes problems, money causes stress. So investing versus spending is very important. So you may proceed with your commissions, Davis.
No, when Alison mentioned as her third tip to get creative, start an online business, etc., and involve your children. I just wanted you to just talk a little bit about siblings. Tasties is, did I get your name right?
Sometimes some siblings tasties was built out of my family and the children, you know, wanting to do something, but I think their priority was wanting to get the money. But it's okay. I was able to flip that script to help them to be able to really focus on what they're doing. So it's baking, you know, these little dessert treats. So, but what we did, my husband and I, when they, you know, initially pitched the idea, because when I was a teenager and had most of my time, I used to bake and, you know, get creative. And they asked me to teach them to bake. So then we went and they came up with the name. But what I did, I asked them to present me with a business plan. Where are we going with all this? Is this just to have money? And, you know, they got very creative. I saw a budget. I saw how much money going in the account. I saw the money that I was not going to get, even though I was doing a lot of the work. I saw ideas, you know, and really, ladies, get your children involved. It's very exciting. Another way to bond with the family as well. And that's okay if the mess is made. You know, I know a lot of you would know about when you're preparing to make something and you involve your children. It's a bit messy, but it's exciting as well. So that's where Siblings Tasties was built from, my home and the children. Thank you, Ann Davis. So we want to get into the prize giving for this segment. You're muted, Ms. Davis.
I'm sorry. Yes, we're going to the prizes now. So for this prize, I'm waiting for Mrs. Placide to put it up on the screen.
It's Fresh Press.
I want to know, Ms. Placide, can you just give the ladies an idea about Fresh Press? What is this all about before I go into what we're going to do for the prize?
Okay, Fresh Press is locally made right here in the Caribbean. They recently launched their milk line, all without preservative. They recently launched their line of desserts like banana bread and muffins, flourless stuff. And also during the pandemic, they had things called, I think was energy shots kind of thing and health shots. All the stuff that they produce, like fruit drinks, we have vegetable drinks and stuff, a really great tasting stuff. Smoothies, milk drinks, muffins, anything that you think they can do it with simple things as kale and celery and the mixture of all the veggies. So it's a healthy way to really enjoy your desserts. Fresh Press.
Okay. So before I present the question, I want to say to Alison, thank you. Thank you so much, Alison, for what you shared with us. I just want to tell you what stood out to me is your last point where you said to practice an attitude of gratitude. I think that one was big for me. And of course, we know what we focus on the most it always seems bigger to us, right? And so if we place our focus on the things that we could be thankful about, then just as you said, you know, everything seems, you know, to kind of more or less fall into place. Like, okay, since I have that, then maybe I can do this, and I want to get more of this feeling. You know how we women, we are highly emotional, and we based sometimes a lot of our moods and motivation comes from how we feel emotionally. So when we have an attitude of gratitude, even our emotions shift, and that too can be a motivator for us to do more in terms of positive things, to become more creative, to take the time to prioritize. You start to see clearer as well, you know. And so I want to take the time, and ladies, I want us to put some hands together on the chat so that Alison would realize how much we appreciate what she shared and how it really benefited us. Alison's blessings to you. Thank you so very much. And we look forward again to working with you and your team in the future. This is about us, ladies, helping to support each other as we go forward, all right? So on that note, I want to ask if anybody who is within our listening audience is celebrating a birthday this week or celebrated a birthday last week. Anybody born in the best month of the year?
Okay, Anne.
I'm
know you were this week.
Not this week, but my birthday was the 2nd.
Is this Anne-Marie Gill Duncan speaking?
Yes, this is she.
All right, and I'm seeing Tammy Desani. Did I pronounce it properly? Tammy?
Yes, proper pronunciation. Thank you.
So Tammy, when is your birthday? When was your birthday?
Oh no, it will be on the 23rd.
The 23rd, which is coming. Okay. Again, I'm leaving it up to you. One was on the 2nd and one is the 23rd. What are we going to do? Yeah.
Ms. Davis, one is on the?
One was on the 2nd and one is on the 23rd. So none of them are within the 1 week before, 1 week after, I think, the 23rd. Am I right?
So both persons will get something from Fresh Press.
Okay, great. Hey. Can we put some, let me see what
Happy birthday to Anne Maria and happy birthday in advance to Tammy.
Yes.
Miss Davis' birthday is coming up on the 21st, so we want to say happy birthday to you in advance as well.
Well, thank you. That's it. The best month of the year. Ladies, Tammy, Anne-Marie. Yeah. Let me hear you. Hey, May. Okay.
Let's not get started.
Let me not get carried away. Let's get back. So I'm handing over to you. Ladies, please, as I asked before, direct message me on the chat with your numbers so that we can call you after to make arrangements for the collection of your stuff. All right. So Mrs. Placide, over to you.
Thank you. So last but not least, and I would like you all so far, if your lives has been impacted, if you're getting something, let us know in the chat. We want to be encouraged to do this again. So we have with us this evening a beautiful woman, another beautiful woman to grace the floor. Mrs. Candice Maria Phillip is a professional administrator and has also been a full-time wife and mother for the past 6 years. Before plunging headfirst into these beautifully challenging roles, Candice completed her BA in History and Communication Studies at the University of West Indies and has been trying to navigate the world of work ever since. You're speaking to us, girl. Candice has also holds a certificate in life coaching, children's life coaching, and early childhood education. She is also the founder of a mother's empowerment group known as A Mother's Place, Moms Backing Moms. And I just love that because we need the support. Her hope is that through the group, mothers would be able to be their best selves and by extension, the best mothers they can be. The best mothers that they can be. So this evening, I want to welcome Mrs. Candice Maria Phillip, and she's going to talk about the me in mommy. And this topic is very dear to me because I want to publicly announce to everyone that I have created a general holiday called the Day of Nothingness. I love it. If you would like to know more about it, please message me. It's an exciting day where we choose to do nothing but take care of the me and mommy. Turn right over to you, Candice.
Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon to be part of the panel of these beautiful and lovely hardworking mummies. And it's just a pleasure to be here with you all this afternoon, right? And even as this topic is very dear to Denielle, is also very, very dear to me. And I'm thinking it should be dear to every mommy or mommy to be in here this afternoon, right? So in preparing for Big Mama Talk this afternoon, I started thinking about, you know, the modern mother. And I started thinking about some things that, what entails the modern mother, right? And I'm going to list some things, and I'm also going to give you all a minute or so to put some things in the chat because I may have left out some things. So the modern mother, this concept entails running a home, holding down a full-time job, some of us, raising children, trying to stay healthy, keep a healthy family. That means we need to feed them right. Therefore, we need to cook often because we don't want them eating fast food all the time, right? It also means in the 21st century, a lot of do-it-yourself. So we also have kitchen gardens, drop-offs, pick-ups, because, you know, we want well-rounded children. We don't just want children that focus on academics, but we also want them to be, you know, well-rounded in terms of learning instruments. We just want everything. So, right, apart from all these things, we want to have all these things or do all these things. And the modern mother also wants to look good in the process, not so? Right? So I have listed some things. What does the concept of modern mother entail for you all as well? If I missed anything. Real quickly, you all could either shoot it in the chat or you could unmute and tell me, tell me says amen, and just tell me what else, something that I may have missed. What else does the modern mother? Managing businesses, because we have a lot of mom entrepreneurs, right? That's excellent, Abigail. Anybody else? Pursuing academic advancement, exactly. Because apart from just doing us, we have to remember that we have our children looking at us, and, you know, when they see us achieve things, they will place the importance on it. So yes, we want to achieve our academic advancements and all those things, right? So basically, the trying to be a modern mother in this time in a pandemic is really, it could be overwhelming and it could be exhausting, right? And what I have realized is that because we try to place ourselves in this mold of being a good mother or a great mother, we're not always able to fit all these criteria into our lives. And if we have to compromise anything, most often we compromise ourselves. Not so, ladies? The most times we compromise ourselves. Yes? Yes, we do. And I have been doing that. I am an example of having compromised myself. Now, the thing is, I have an almost 5-year-old daughter, right? And I have a 10-month-old son, and recently it has become such a challenge for me. I remember when I just had my son, and the thing is, COVID, being in a COVID pandemic, it just more or less put the icing on the cake for everything, right? Because everything now is extra. It's extra care, extra sanitization, extra careful. Whereas you had a support group before, you could have dropped off your children here, there. You have to be careful now because now you have to think about, okay, who are these people coming into contact with? Is it a safe environment? So it's so much more now, being in the middle of a pandemic, right? And all of this could be just exhausting and overwhelming if we really consider it. And I remember after going back out to work after maternity leave, after I had my son, right? Now, all of us here who are mommies, we know how life is with a newborn baby, right? And adding a new baby to a family. So, of course, going back out after maternity leave, just trying to navigate life, get accustomed to being a mommy of 2 now. Obviously I have to drive to work, and I work, let's say, usually without traffic, it's probably about half an hour, 45 minutes drive. With traffic, it's about 2 hours, right? And I actually started falling asleep on the highway. This is how serious this got. I remember there were so many times that I would nod off while driving, and I would be probably pulling to the shoulder or to the side, and I would, thank God for Jesus. I would jump up right on time and just pull my car back on the road. There was this time I stopped at a traffic light. I was almost to work, and I stopped at the traffic light. And all the other times I would be driving to work on the highway and I would just nod off, right? But this time I stopped at the traffic light. I was the first car, to move off when the light would change. And I completely knocked out at the traffic light. The only how I woke up is because when the traffic light turned green, the cars behind started honking. And when I jumped up, I was so terrified because I couldn't believe that I was out cold for that few seconds or that minute that it took for the light to change. And when I got to work that day, I prayed the whole way to work, to get to work from that traffic light. And I said, Candice, things can't go on the way that it's going, because I'm the type of mommy, everything else in the world could be going crazy. However, I need things to be, stable where my children are concerned. Everything needs to be perfect there, and it comes to packing for the babysitter. Everything needs to be perfect. The clothes need to be matching. Even from washing the clothes, I need to get a certain scent from the clothes in order to pack it just right. The bag needs to be the lunch bag with the bottles. Everything needs to be perfect. And I had to sit with myself and sit with God and say, Candice, do these things really matter? Is it really important that everything needs to be perfect? Isn't it more important that you are alive and that you are physically well so that you can return home to these children in the afternoon, And that was a real eye-opener for me. And that is when I started to tell myself, listen, there is no way that you could be a good mother if you're not here. If you're not here to actually mother these children, to parent these children. So I had to make some serious adjustments. to my life. You understand? And I don't know if any of you would have had experiences like those, but that's when, you know, I really needed to make some changes, right? The things that I thought were important, as Alison was saying earlier, you realize that, you know, it really does not matter. And I realized that I was there, and then I realized that I was compromising myself. And I needed to make a change, right? So there and then I realized that I needed to remember the me in mommy, right? And in doing some research and some reading and stuff like that, I came across this little anecdote, this little story. Have you all ever wondered why? I mean, for those of us who work, this is, oh my gosh, I can imagine how scary that was, Miss Mitchell. That's, wow, yeah. So I came across this story, and the author was saying, have you ever wondered why in a hierarchical structure in any organization, why the CEO, managers, supervisors, etc., doesn't it seem that they always get the best of everything? They always have all the comforts, they always have all the benefits, all these things. Have you ever wondered why the people at the top always seem to benefit the most, and they're always more comfortable, and it seems as though they're given more? This is because these people at the top, the CEO, these people are the decision makers, right? These are the people whose life, the people that follow them, their lives depend on the decisions that the CEO makes, the managers make, the supervisors make, right? So therefore, if those people are comfortable, if they have all the benefits and that kind of thing, they're able to produce more, right? Their minds are at ease. They don't have to think about driving to work or falling asleep because they have drivers, you know, and stuff like that. So in our homes, and that story really hit me, because in our homes, we are the CEOs, we are the managers, we are the supervisors, and our children are looking to us for guidance, for their livelihood, for everything basically. For those of us who have young children, they are literally depending, their life depends on what we do and what we say, you know? And the thing is, we don't consider that we need certain comforts and certain benefits as well, right? And it is up to us to provide those things for ourselves, right? And even Tamara's presentation earlier on time management, a lot of things that she said really hit home for me, because one of my greatest things, or I always complain to my husband, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to do this. I don't have enough time to do that. I don't have enough time. And sometimes just sitting and you know, reevaluating what you're doing, how you're doing it, if it's really important that this particular thing be done, you know, can really change your life. You understand? And I came across another, in reading, I read a lot of mom blogs and stuff like that, right? So I was reading one of my usual persons, and she made a statement, a comment, and it goes like this: being a mother is the hardest, being a mother is harder than anyone could ever tell you, but more rewarding than anyone could ever tell you, right? And I realized by this statement, motherhood is subjective, it's relative. It's relative to your situation, it's relative to your family structure, it's relative to your lifestyle. So it's not something that's hard and fast, and it's not a mold that could be taken from one mother to the next. However, you know, we can work things out with certain pointers and structure, right? So I know I would have said a lot, and I know there are a lot of things we can discuss as we go along. Yeah, sure, I'll repeat the quote. It says, being a mother is harder than anyone could ever tell you, but more rewarding than anyone can ever tell you as well, right? So with my experiences and with some of the reading that I've done over time, I've come up with 5 quick pointers that could help us as moms to remember ourselves, to not compromise ourselves, and to remember that we need to take care of the CEOs, managers, supervisor of our homes, right? Which is us, along with our husbands and whoever else we co-parent with, right? So the first pointer I would share with you all this afternoon is, ladies, I think we need to understand that being a good mom does not mean being a perfect mother. A perfect mother does not exist. Anybody here is a perfect mother? Yeah, raise hands. Any perfect mothers in the house? Perfect. You always get everything right. You don't have mommy brain. No? Awesome. So listen, being a good mother is not being a perfect mother. There will always be clothes to wash. There will always be ways in the sink. There will always be toys to pack up, you know? So sometimes we need to turn a blind eye to some of the things that always need to be done. Take a power nap, take a walk, get on the floor, spend some time, quality time with the kids, you know, do the things that would make you happy. You understand? There is, yes, Sister Pastor Denielle says there are disposable dishes. You know, I think I was having this conversation with my husband yesterday or the day before. Listen, make things work for you, right? A perfect mother does not exist. I had to learn that the hard way, y'all. I had to start falling asleep on the highway before, you know, that statement became a reality to me. Don't let that be you. Some of us had to forget our children at the babysitters, at the daycare. That's really scary stuff, y'all, right? So don't let that be you. So remember, get it in your mind, in your heart, and understand that being a good mother is not being a perfect mother, right? Second, prioritize me time. Prioritize me time. Now, this was a very tricky one for me because you all know this concept called mom guilt. I had that so bad. I had that so bad because I tell myself, I said, Candice, you're working, you're dropping off your kids at the babysitter at 6:30. You're going to work for the entire day. You're not picking them up again until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're basically not with you all day. And then when you come home in the evening, as soon as you get home, is cook and to pack up and to organize for the day ahead, right? The previous day coming, the preceding day. And I would tell myself, anytime I have free time, I need to spend quality time with the children, right? But then I realized the quality time wasn't much quality at all because I was grumpier. My fuse was shorter. I had less, you know, I wasn't myself. I wasn't my best self. So I had to start prioritizing me time. And I started doing this in many ways. I started telling myself, okay, so after I get home, I do the things that need to be done. In the night when the children are quiet or when my husband gets home, because my husband has about 4 jobs, you know, so he's a very busy guy, right? And when my husband gets home and he'd probably take the baby, my daughter would be asleep, I started quietly going into the living room, having a cup of tea, and just have 5 or 10 minutes to myself just to regroup, just to tell myself, okay, this is what happened throughout the day. This is what I was pleased about. I wasn't pleased about. This is what I was sad about. This is something I probably could have done better on work, or, just that. Or probably sometimes I try just to clear my mind and don't think about anything at all. Just sip my tea and don't think about anything at all. And honestly, it helps me to unwind, and it helps me to it helps me even when I go to bed, because sometimes your mind is just so full of stuff and your mind is racing. When you actually lie down on the bed, you can't sleep. You may fall asleep, but you wouldn't rest because your mind is just so full. And us as mommies, we always just want to make sure that everything is perfect for the children and they have everything they need and that kind of thing. And so I just try to clear my mind with that cup of tea. I mean, I probably wouldn't get to do it every night, but I try to do it as often as possible. Another way that I prioritize me time, I've started, and this actually is going to take me to my second point. So the first point was understand that being a good mother is not being a perfect mother. Second is prioritizing me time. So like I was telling you before, I thought that every free time I had, because I work full time and I have so little time with the kids during the week, I thought that on a weekend, every spare time I had to spend with them. There were Sunday evenings, I would tell my husband, okay, listen, I'm going to meet up. Well, before COVID or before this lockdown, I would meet up with either my coworkers or friends. I would go watch a movie, just to regroup and to get back. That place, as someone said in the chat just now, you cannot drive a car that doesn't have gas. So we need to refuel, right? We as moms, we need to refuel, right? Another pointer that I'd like to share with you ladies that has been really helping me now after my son, after my baby, during and after or during the pregnancy, my goodness, I gained so much weight that it was such an emotional struggle for me. It was such an emotional struggle because before I had children, I was heavily into fitness and bodybuilding and working out. Like I would breathe, I would work out, So this was a norm for me in my life. And then after having children, finding the time to do it, was really, really hard. And I guess that's why Tamara's presentation earlier really clicked with me, really resonated with me, because I literally had to carve out time in my day, in my week, to at least do a 20 to 30 minutes workout at least 3 times a day. I purposed in myself, I purposed in my heart that, listen, this needs to be done. It has to be done. There's no if, no mother baby. Thankfully, I have the encouragement from my husband because he's a fitness instructor, However, finding the time to do it was crazy. So it means, like, for me, when I get home and I get the meals prepared and the children organized and quiet for bed, so I literally work out between 9 and 9:30. So between 9 and 9:30, that's when I do my workouts. And some people will say, Gil, you crazy, you mad. But that's the only time I have, right? Because remember, I have a baby. So I am up with him during the night when he would get up for his feeds and stuff. So therefore, a morning workout before work would be impossible for me. So I have to find that time somewhere. And if it's 9 o'clock, if it's 9:30, if it's 10 o'clock, it has to be done. And that workout for me has helped me mentally, so much. Ladies, because we know what sleep deprivation can do to you. And regardless of how the sleep deprivation is coming, we love the babies, yes. But you see that sleep deprivation, whew, that could do something to your brain. And, just working out for me really helped improve my moods. It helped improve the way I saw myself, because I started feeling better about myself. I started looking better. My clothes started to fit better. Anybody just ever burst down in tears because your clothes not fitting right? Like real tears, like long crocodile tears. That is me, right? So, yes. So I really needed to carve out this time. Runny nose and saying, yes, not an okay, because the clothes just ain't fitting right? So I really needed to do this for myself. I realized when I started doing it, stress, whether it be stress with the kids, stress with work, that kind of thing, I was in a better mood at the end of the day. When I would pick up my children, I would be in a better mental space to actually spend quality time. Now, the actual time, maybe just a half an hour or an hour, but it would actually be quality, as opposed to if I would spend 2 hours with them, but just grouchy and in a horrible mood, right? Right. So, as much as possible, ladies, try and find that time to work out. And the thing is, workout doesn't have to be, okay, you go and you get some weight and you're there pumping. I know there are a lot of people that love to dance, right? Half an hour, 3 times a week, dance, just move your body. An intentional movement for a certain amount of time, do that. You understand? It's very, really very important. And the thing is, I've realized that in all the research where you look at moms taking care of themselves, you will always find exercise as one of the pointers, right? So it's very important. And also to add to that point, in me trying to carve out this time to work out, it meant that when my husband would work out with me, right? So it meant that I needed to ask for help, which is another thing. I don't know where I got these ideas from, but I thought that being a good mother meant that I had to do everything for myself. And I have to do everything for myself. So I shouldn't ask anyone to watch my children after they've been by the babysitter all day if it's just for half an hour, because I need to be able to do everything myself. I shouldn't ask for help. And, motherhood and falling asleep on the highway has really broken down some barriers for me, mentally and emotionally. So now it meant that I had to trust people a little more, right? It meant that I had to trust God a little more, because at the end of the day, I'm leaving my kids with the babysitter all day. Things could happen, but I pray and I cover my children. And it's the same way if I'm asking my niece or mother-in-law or whomever to watch the children for me for half an hour, 45 minutes, so that I can work out. I still have to trust them, and I have to trust God, that He will watch over my children, because at the end of the day, things can happen even when they're in my care, but I have to trust God that He would watch over my children and that He would cover them. So I don't have to do everything myself, and it is okay to ask for help. It is enormously okay to ask for help. Make sure that the environment that your children are in is a healthy one, is a safe one, yes, because we know, all the ills that are out there in society, but don't be afraid to ask for help, right? Right. As we move on, point number 4, create and align yourself with a supportive system or a mom tribe. A support system and or a mom tribe is extremely important, because as I was saying just now, making my point, asking for help, apart from just the physical help in terms of childcare, someone to watch children while you do things, navigating through motherhood, if you are a young mother like myself, could be emotionally draining. It could be emotionally tiresome. It could be very frightening at times. But if you surround yourself with or create for yourself a mom tribe or a supportive mom system, this could really help you. And why I'm saying this is that you need women in your life who is going to speak positive. Like as I was giving you all just now the example of my weight gain throughout my pregnancy. Listen, some of the persons that have told me the cruelest of things are women and mothers who would have gone through the same thing. I tell you, listen, if I did not know Jesus Christ, lady, these women have told me the truth even while I was pregnant. After I had my son, and he was just a few months, I was shocked to hear the kinds of things that would come out of other mothers' mouths. People that call themselves friends and family, right? And that's the thing, we need to understand that everybody is different, right? Everybody's body structure is different. So for me, when I am pregnant, my family, the women in my family, we just retain a lot of water. So we swell a lot, right? We just swell. Like one day we're glowing and we're looking pretty, and you understand? And then by the 7th, 8th month, I just start to retain water and I'm swollen by looking like a whole frog, right? And and the thing is, well, I mean, thankfully, I have gorgeous children. So I think that's probably God's plan. I get ugly to make gorgeous children, right? And and that's cool with me, you know, because I already made my peace with God. I mean, I used to have a quarrel with God, right? But I made my peace with God when the children born and I see how absolutely gorgeous they are. I was like, okay, God, I get you. All right. All right. So Miss Anne is asking for an example. I guess she's asking for an example of things that I would have been told while I was pregnant and while when I just had my baby. I was told like, oh my God, these children, this girl disfigure you. You totally disfigure. I was told, oh my God, I don't think you should have more children. Now look what pregnancy doing to you. I was told so many things, you know, and thank God that I know Jesus, and thank God that apart from these people who were really cruel, my mother, oh my God, this lady is a total champion. I salute her every day and I pray that God gives her long life. You know, she is as a woman, now yes, there are other people in my life who speak positive and stuff but as a woman, she is one of my biggest cheerleaders and I'm very grateful for her. So shout out to all the mommies, grannies, right? Yeah, so I have been told the cruelest of things, and thank God I was able to shake it off. And when I saw my babies, I was like, you know, take that in all your face. My children are gorgeous. Yeah, right? So create that. And I think that was the whole premise and that's the whole concept behind a mother's place. You know, I think I and those who share my vision, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a network, a mom tribe that is so strong and that is so sturdy that we become the village that raises the child, right? Because we need help. COVID-19 has, in a lot of ways, brought us to our knees as mommies because it is a struggle, it is a juggle. You understand? And as moms, we really need to back each other. And right now, my daughter entered, just before COVID, she recently entered preschool. So all of her preschool life, it has been throughout the COVID pandemic. So it has been a lot of online school for a 4-year-old, and she's not having this online. And I am telling you, it is another mother or other mothers who were teachers, who were preschool teachers, that has been taking my daughter and teaching her when my daughter did not know, she wasn't able to write or to hold her pencil. There was another mother who would take my child during the day when I am at work because she understands. And she would teach my daughter how to write and how to read and how to listen, ladies. We really need to assist each other. I know that we are living in scary times, but as much as possible, we really need to help each other. You know, we need to support, we need to uplift, be mindful of the things that you say to other ladies, women. Be mindful of the things that you say to other ladies, because another mother may not be as strong as me mentally or emotionally, right? And the thing is, you're not aware of what people are dealing with behind the scenes, right? So please don't tip anybody over the board. Be kind. You understand? Right. And my last pointer is keep your dreams and your personal passions alive. Keep your dreams and your personal passions alive. Before COVID-19, when A Mother's Place was launched, one of our first initiatives was a vision board party for mothers. And I would say, I can't stress the relevance of and the importance of having a vision board as a mother. It is important for everyone. However, I believe it is even more important for a mother because we understand how crazy a mother's life can be. And sometimes we just get lost in the routine of just making sure things get done, making sure the children are catered for, making sure our husbands and significant others are catered for. You know, so I have my vision board. It's actually stuck up right in front of the chair where I feed and put my baby to sleep, right? So, and that's almost every other hour during the day. So every time I sit there and I look up, I see my vision board, right? My son was actually on my vision board. After I did my vision board, a few weeks after, I found that I was pregnant with him, right? So vision boards work, people, right? So for those of you who want pointers, who have not done, I know there are some ladies on here who would have been at our last vision board session. For those of you who probably would want pointers on how to go about doing a vision board as a mommy, you could always private message me, and we can always, you know, make personal contact with each other, and I will feel free. I no problem. I will make the time to sit with you, to talk with you over the phone, to do a Zoom call and give you pointers on how to do a vision board, right? So as I was saying, this will assist you in keeping your dreams and your visions alive. It's very important because I remember, was it last week? I was leaving home on my way to work, going to drop off the kids to the babysitter, and it was about 6:15 in the morning, and my daughter sat in the back seat, and I was driving. Baby was asleep, and just randomly, she just put it out, "Mommy, why is your hair always in a bun?" And I was so taken aback that I didn't answer immediately. And, you know, she asked again because she realized I didn't answer. She's like, "Mommy, why is your hair always in a bun?" And I realized that, listen, this little lady is looking at me. So I explained to her, I said, "Well, baby, it's just the fastest and the easiest thing for mommy to do on a morning. And, you know, mommy's always hustling. So it's just very easy, you know." And it just hit me that she's looking at you, and she's very much into, even at 4, she's very much into fashion because she wants to be a fashionista when she grows up, right? She's very much into fashion and she likes nice things, and she's in her princess stage. So she can't for the life of her understand why her mommy's hair is always in a bun, right? Because I assume it's very boring in her eyes. And it might seem small, but I actually started trying to comb my hair differently at least once or twice during the week, you know? And we have to remember, and Anne-Marie says I like that, and we have to remember that even in, you know, navigating our treadmill lives, our busy lives, that our children are looking at us and they are looking to see what we are doing, what we're achieving, what we're saying, how we're reacting, how we're behaving. So when you achieve when you achieve your goals that you've set for yourself, they might be silent, but they're looking, right? And they are your biggest cheerleaders. And what we teach them through our behavior and through what we do is more important than what we try to teach them through the things that we say, right? And I understand that we have to prioritize. So I have understood that as a young mommy with young children, there are certain things that I may not be able to do right now, especially through a pandemic, as we're going through a pandemic. There are certain things that so what I do is I adjust my vision board, right? If there was something that I wanted to achieve in a year and I realized, okay, this year, COVID-19 to control, I adjust the suit, right? However, I am not going to put it off, right? Because just as my daughter noticed that I put my hair in a bun every day, she's going to notice, well, all mommy ever did in her whole life was cook, wash, clean, hustle, and that was it, right? Hustle, 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 cook, wash, clean, right? And I don't want her to think that that is all a woman's life entails. Okay, ladies, so that was my final point. I would just recap the 5 points. I know I've said a lot and I know we probably have a lot of comments to make and that kind of thing. So I'll just briefly recap those 5 points that should help us to remember the me in mommy, right? So first, a good mom is not a perfect mom, right? Prioritize me time, exercise as much as you can, create or be a part of a supportive mom tribe, keep your dreams and passions alive, right? In my reading as well, I also came across this quote that I usually tell myself when I realize that I'm compromising myself a little too much. And I will ask all of you to say with me. You don't have to unmute your mic, but right where you are, just repeat this with me, right? I will honor and respect myself by regularly taking care of my needs. This will make me happier and better able to care for my family, all right? So anytime you're feeling stressed and you're feeling as though you're compromising yourself and you're not, the best you that you could be for your family or for your children, just look yourself in the mirror and repeat that, okay? I will honor and respect myself by regularly taking care of my needs. This will make me happier and better able to care for my family, okay? Ladies, thank you very much for listening. I hope that, the little that I had to say this afternoon was helpful. I hope that some of the things that I shared really resonated with you all. And remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, all right? And I also have a Facebook page, right? You could look for us. It's A Mother's Place on Facebook, and on Instagram, it's ammothers.place. All right? Have a great evening, ladies. Thank you so much, Pastor Denielle.
You're welcome, Candice. And before I turn over to Ms. Davis to do the last prize, Candice, that was so awesome, ladies. I know that we have been here for a while, but permit us, it was really, really awesome. And I just want to put in a quick plug here in wrapping up what Candice would have said. And Ms. Davis, get ready for the prize giveaway. We have an awesome prize to give away. I just want to remind you to give yourself permission to pause. it's important. Even if you can get 5 minutes of nothingness, it's important. In the bathroom, a longer bath, water therapy. I no longer say it's a bath, I call it water therapy, because I'm in there and you know the water is just falling. I'm just reflecting on the goodness of God. Water therapy. So give yourself permission to pause. One person said, if you want to have enough to give others, you will need to take care of yourself first. A tree that refuses water and sunlight cannot bear fruit for others. A tree that refuses water and sunlight cannot bear fruit for others. So I would say to you, give yourself permission to pause. Thank you, Candice. You did an awesome job. You just had me reflecting so much. Thank you so much. So Miss Davis, are we ready to give away this prize? There was so much comments for Candice. We just want to go straight into the prize giving because we don't want to recap anything. We want you to answer the question. So prize giving this evening. Let me share my screen with the prize. And the creator for this awesome body oil, it is done by Island Pure Essentials Limited, and that mommy, she's on with us this evening. Shay, maybe you could just unmute and say hi to everyone. Are you there still? Is she there?
Hi, yes, hi everyone.
Good evening. So this lovely mommy is the creator behind this Island Pure body oil. So that's the prize for this evening, to take care of you. I'm not sure who's going to, I think it's self, you know, you can put it on yourself. You don't need nobody else to do it for you. Don't compromise your space. If you want somebody else to put it on, make sure that person is legal. I just want to say that. All right, so Miss Davis, take it away very quickly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ladies. So, question. There are two phrases that our last speaker, Candice, just used. One was getting rid of mom something, and the other one was creating a mom something. That's one question. And the second question is, can you give me one long-term effect of stress? This is from Alison's presentation. So it's one long-term effect of stress, and to finish the term, get rid of mom something and create a mom something.
Ms. Davis, is that two questions, or one person must answer both questions?
One person has to answer both questions. It's
okay, great. Two parts.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Make it difficult for this oil.
Yes. Yes. It's the last question.
Whoever raised their hands first, Candice, maybe you can help us look. Ms. Davis, you can repeat the questions.
First question, one long-term effect of stress, and the other question, question two, is Candice shared that we should get rid of mom something and we should create a mom something. All right, I'm seeing Tisa Vialva.
Good evening, everyone. I think one long-term effect of stress, as shared by Alison, is the increased chance of illness.
Right, correct.
I know that Candice spoke about creating a supportive system for a mom tribe.
Right.
I remember about that. Get rid of, though. I think I missed that, but I think it probably be get rid of mom shaming. I can't remember the exact phrase in terms of get rid of mom something. I'm not sure.
All right, all right. If the other person doesn't get it, you're getting this because so far you have all correct. Let me see if anybody else could get it, and if not, Tisa, this oil is yours. So claim it from now. Anybody else wanted to give it a try? Tisa got everything except the last part. All right, going once. Going, okay. And Marie said to give it to Tisa. So Tisa.
Wonderful.
Congratulations. The word is mom guilt. She said, get rid of mom guilt and yes, create a support system or mom tribe. So ladies, thank you so much. Tisa, can you please direct message me in the chat and give me your telephone contact so we can make arrangements for you to get your gift. And I want to thank everybody. Miss Placide, before we close, as we are on the topic, as we close on the topic of the me and mom, right? The self-care part of the mommying. I just want to throw something out. I'm not sure if she's on, but we have an entrepreneur who is very well known. I don't know how much of you have ever attended the Bra Festival. So we have this entrepreneur called Perry.Webster Steele, and she is the owner of Perry's Plus. She has a website and a store in Cuba. I don't know, Perry, if you're on, you could just jump in. I'm not sure how much of you would be interested in having a chat as we did today on getting the right type of, the right fitting bras, you know, the right fitting type of underwear, etc. A lot of us have sometimes some challenges with getting underwear that really complements our figures and stuff. And Perry is very versed in this area. So Perry, are you there? I'm seeing.
Yes, Michi, I'm here.
Can you just jump in, say hi to the ladies and just tell them a little bit? Would you be willing to have a chat with us on a forum similar to this? And ladies, can you tell us if you'll be interested in on getting this type of information as well? Let us chat. Perry, can you give us a little more about Perry's Plus?
Sure. Good evening. Everyone is doing
Perry,
well
just now,
on all
you're
levels,
breaking up a lot.
physically. Is it better now?
Yes, go ahead.
Is it better now? Good evening, everyone. Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well mentally and physically, because I know that, you know, this is a different time. As Michelle stated, my name is Perry.Webster Steele. I'm the owner of Perry's Plus, a bra store that we have been in existence for the past 14 years. And it really started out of my own need of not getting proper fitting bras. So while we cater for all women of all sizes, the core of our business will always be the woman with the fuller bust. So we do training bras straight up to O cups, or as an oval. As Misha would have mentioned, we had the Caribbean's first ever bra festival called Bravo, which saw over 600 women in attendance in 2017. In addition to it, I really want to say to Ms. Placide and to Anne, thank you very much for having this, because it's really, really needed at this point in time. Last weekend we had an online seminar on mental health, because it's so important at this time as women juggling so many different things. If at any point in time you all would like to get more information on what we do, we have our Facebook and Instagram page. We started something called the Virtual Bra Room, where we discuss a host of different topics as to how to measure, etc., etc. So feel free to message us. We'll be happy to assist. Yes, we are closed, but you can still message us. And that is about it. COVID has been, we just continue to take it one day at a time. We have so far started manufacturing our own panties. We have started manufacturing our own bras. We have started manufacturing our own sleepwear. We have our own sleepwear line and lingerie line, all designed and made in Trinidad and Tobago. So I just want to wish each and every one of you good success in everything that you all put your hands to. Know that you all are more than enough. Know that we will get through this period in one piece and of sound mind. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. And everyone just continue taking it one day at a time, okay? The name of the page on IG is Perry's Plus. PERI''S+.
Okay, Perry, thank you so much. To Mrs. Placide. Ladies, it was really awesome spending this time with you. Thank you, Alison. Thank you, Miss Rock. Thank you, Candice. Wow, I am not a mother yet, but listen, I have learned so much, and I am definitely going to put into practice a lot of the things that you have shared. So thank you from this mom to all the other moms. Thank you so much. Mrs. Placide, over to you. And to all the Mayborns, let's not forget that. To all the Mayborns, hey!
So ladies, thank you so much. I was telling Anne that I'm so filled with joy this evening. I am passionate about what I do, and then I'm even more passionate with the support of women like you. And I want to express my thanks to Tamara, to Alison, to Candice, even to Perry, to Anne, to all of you. Stick with us. I know it has been long, but very productive. And I feel so good because we're doing me, right? We're doing me. That's what we're doing. We're taking this time to do us. And I'm very encouraged. I also want to endorse Perry. It's okay to ask for help. Your mental health is very important. Ladies, the next segment coming up is mental health and parenting. We're going to have that conversation. We're going to have a conversation about the bra. Tomorrow would have started Big Mama Talk with put on your big girl panties. And it's important for us to do those things as well. So we're going to have those conversations. In the month of the end of June, July, we are having 2 conferences. One for the teen girl. Hey girl, be kind to your mind. Hey girl, you're beautiful. Hey girl, be bold. Various topic on hey girl. And then for the woman, the adult woman, crown up. For the Bible says that in Isaiah 52 verse 2 that sit in a place of honor. Take the chains off your neck. So we want to sit in a place of honor. So log on to our Facebook page. Join our private group. We have great things coming up in the future. And I just want to say thank you. If this was good for you this evening, leave something in the chat. Let the speakers feel encouraged. And, and tell us if you would like to get more. Really good stuff. Thank you. Feel free to log off when you feel to. Just before you go, leave something in the chat. Head over to Facebook. Join the group chats. I've put the Facebook links there and the IG links. Join the chat, and we're looking forward to joining you in our private space. I am Denielle Placide, the founder of the nonprofit organization, The Priceless for Women. Remember that you are loved, you have value, and you are priceless. Love you, ladies. God bless you.